what did I do next? I transitioned from that to YouTube channel, #NurseGirls. It's me, Jamicia, and I'm back with another video. Now, here in this community, we focus on education, experiences, emotional stability, and every extra thing that goes down in nursing school that people really don't want to talk about. Now, if you're new to my channel, child, subscribe. And baby, hit the like button while you're at it. Ayy, hit the like button while you're at it. Ayy, hit the like button while you're at it. Ayy. Now let's get into this video. Okay, so in today's video, it's gonna be just a college edition instead of just nursing school, because these are all things that can be incorporated in any student that is in a time-consuming program. So this can apply to nursing school students, law, medical, anything, okay? Should I work while I'm in nursing school? So this is a perfect question. I know that a lot of people wonder if it's a good thing to work while you're in college. So I have a couple things here that I'm gonna go over. I'm going to share my experience first. So me personally, I have done it all. So in the beginning of my college experience, I was full-time in college, full-time, and I had my own place and I paid my own bills. Then I transitioned to living with someone who wanted to take care of me and pay all of my bills. I didn't have to work. I didn't have to do anything but focus on school. And in that moment, I realized that this stay-at-home wife or girlfriend or be a stay-at-home mom, anything of that aspect, I knew that's not something that I wanted to do. I actually became depressed in that time because I literally went from being totally independent to being dependent on someone, and it was just a very hard transition for me. It sounded nice though in the beginning, like it sounded like something I wanted to do. I'm like, okay, yeah, like why not? But I did have to realize that my personality, for me, I have to be moving, busy. I have to be doing something, multiple things at once. I cannot just do one thing, and I couldn't just focus on nursing school. I couldn't just focus. It sounds crazy, but everybody has different personalities, and that's where I fit. I cannot just be focused on nursing school and just have like this wonderful life. Like I had to be working, I had to be going out, and then I had another thing to where I would have to say, okay, well, I need money. I don't want to ask you for money. I know you're gonna give it to me, but now I have to ask you for money. I'm just not used to that, and so I actually got depressed doing that. And it sounds so crazy, but at the end of the day, if you have a personality like mine to where you just have to work, or you don't necessarily have to work full-time, but like you just have to be doing something and you can't just be focused on this one thing, then you completely understand exactly what I'm saying. So then I transitioned from that to staying in the dorms and housing, and we're gonna go through all of this. So like I said, I'm very experienced in all of this, but staying in the dorms and not having to pay anything still, but I was still able to work part-time, and I didn't even know about certain things about housing that if I wouldn't have known about that, I would have never stayed there from the beginning. So I stayed there for like 2 trimesters. So I stayed there for about like 6 months, and then after that I was like, yeah, no, it's not gonna work, but I'll go into that later on when I talk about the housing portion of this video. Then I transitioned from that to staying with the same person who wanted to take care of me, except for we split the bills. And then I went to work full-time and split the bills, and that just works better for me. So that's where we are. I experienced a lot, so I can be able to vouch for certain things, just to give you guys my opinion on what to do and what not to do. So with that being said, the first thing you have to realize is your personality. Are you a people's person? Are you not a people's person? Do you have to focus on one thing? Do you have to focus on multiple things? Like, it's so much that goes on with it. So let's get into number one. Number one, if you are a person that only wants to focus on schoolwork only, like you don't want no job, you don't want to have to pay no bills, like you don't want anything stressing you out, you don't need no distraction, you don't need nothing that's going to overwhelm you, then I would suggest that you do not work, do not get a job, and live with someone. Live with a family member or a significant other, friends, anybody that's willing to take care of you and while you go to nursing school, and then that way you can focus completely on your work. That is the first option for people who only can focus on schoolwork and not have any other stressors. Then that would be an option for you, to not have a job, to actually have someone to take care of your financial needs, but you have to be aware that you will be asking people for money, or if you don't have a car that's already paid off, you're gonna have to probably ask for rides to get to places that you have to get, especially school. Just take that into consideration when it comes to you not working, okay? Another thing you can do if you do not want to work, but you are a person that don't necessarily want to be around people and you kind of just want to have your own space, and you know that at the end of the day you cannot afford rent because you don't want to work, because you have to solely focus on nursing school, and you feel like working is just gonna get in the way of you actually paying your bills on time and everything of that sort, you can stay in a dorm. Now, you have to be very, very diligent with speaking with your financial aid advisors or your housing leadership team to make sure you know the ins and outs of housing and how it's going to work, as far as contracts, as far as like, okay, if I have to pay at the end of the semester, do I have to pay at the end of graduation? Do I have to pay in the middle of semester? At the end of the day, someone is going to have to pay. Or you can get a full scholarship. I know some people that their church gave them scholarships to where they can stay in the housing and they paid for it for them. Or I know someone personally, her dad was a pastor, and since her dad was a pastor in this certain like Christian realm of school, they automatically give his kid free housing. So you have to look at different programs to where you can get free housing. I don't want to say that everybody offers free housing. That's why you have to do your work before you even apply to a school. Call the school and ask the questions that are necessary to ask and that are important to you, so that you can make sure that this is a place that you can actually thrive and succeed in. Be reminded, if you are staying in a dormitory, that there's a possibility that they will have curfews. They will have regulations of if someone can spend a night, or if there's a female, like if there's two females in a house, that you can't have a male come over, or you can't have a male spend the night, and vice versa. I don't know if they're trying to switch the rules up. So that's just something that you have to ask, you have to inquire about. But I feel like it is a good way that you can have your own space. I know there's two different things. You can probably apply for it to have your own individual room, and you can apply to have roommates. And of course, having a roommate would be the cheaper option. I would suggest that you go and find a housing that would say, hey, you can pay your housing fees 6 months after you graduate, or maybe you can include your housing fees in your loans that you're getting out for school or scholarships. Also, when you're looking into these dorms, make sure that these dorms are clean. Now, there is a big stigma with dormitories and rats and roaches and just old furniture, and just, you know, sometimes it's like, is it really worth me staying at the dorms, or really worth me having my own space if it's gonna be a mess? A big thing about learning and actually succeeding in college is having a positive environment. I know some dorms have pools. Some of them have a little study area where you can go and study. Maybe you can use the school libraries. Like, you just have to figure out what works best for you and what you can take that's not gonna stress you out. Number two, if you're able to focus on your schoolwork and you can work, but you still just feel like, okay, I need a little bit more time for school. I can do both, but I feel like I just need to dedicate a little bit more of my time with school, then I would suggest that you work part-time and go to college. You can also live in the dorms this way and just follow the steps as I said previous. You can get a studio apartment. It just depends on if you're making enough money part-time to pay your bills. You do not want to be living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you can work part-time and stay with someone that's gonna take care of most of the bills, and you can chip in every now and then. Or maybe you can work part-time and you're staying with someone, but then every other week or so, if they're not charging you to stay with them, you can go and just stay at a hotel, and or just like stay somewhere nice where you just want to get away. You don't necessarily have to live there, but you just want to stay there every now and then.
Hi loves, I just wanted to insert this voiceover as I was editing just to let you guys know that there is a such thing as going to school part-time. So you can always implement part-time school into any of these categories. Okay, enjoy the rest of the video.
There are different housing opportunities as well. You have to find out what housing opportunities are available in your community, but majority of the times they have housing where it's like 4 roommates, 5 roommates, or 2 roommates, or just you and another person. You just have to do the research and figure out what works best for you. Now, remember this, the more roommates you have, the cheaper your rent is going to be. And you also have to take into account that you may have to share a bathroom. You may have to share a room, like there might be 2 beds in 1 room. You have to share the kitchen, you have to share the same living space. Most of the time, these are people that you do not know. I know they have these forms now where you can fill out saying like, hey, this is the type of person that I am. And so they will kind of compare you with someone who have the same interests, and to make it more comfortable for you and your roommate. The amount that rent is varies from city to city, state to state. So just make sure that whatever you're making, you're gonna be able to pay your rent and not live from check to check, and also be able to do certain stuff like if you want to go and get a coffee or you want to go get a massage, anything that's gonna keep the stress away from you. You want to make sure that you'll be able to do that with the extra spending money that you have. Now, if you are like me and you can do both, you can focus on school or you can focus on work, you can do it all at once, you can combine it and make it work for you, then by all means work full time and go to school. Now, let me say this. I know there are some people out here that have kids and they have other responsibilities where you can't afford not to work. And you can't afford to just focus on school, even though you would like to just be able to focus on school and not be able to work at the same time. Now, if that is you, the only thing that I can recommend to you guys is this. Research, research, research. There are when I say there's so many programs that's out there to help people in situations as that can assist you. There's different types of money and resources that are out there. There's scholarships, there's grants, even though scholarships take so long for you to actually do. But I mean, if you want to live that lifestyle, you want to be able to not work as much and be able to focus on school or whatever the situation is, if you need that extra income, you want to have a smooth sailing as much as possible. Not saying that's going to be completely smooth sailing, but as much as possible, and to decrease the stressors in your life that you can decrease, then take that time out to apply for scholarships. I mean, apply for thousands of scholarships. They also have resources out there for childcare. Now, I don't know if this is at every place, but I just recently found out, even though I don't have a child, but I just recently found out that Goodwill has a program where you can take your child there for free. I do not know the ins and outs, the stipulations, the application process, none of that, but look it up. I haven't had to look it up because I don't have any kids, but I literally just found it out and I was like, well, this is something good that I can share. So look up different places like that to see who's offering childcare. You can take your child there for free, but I know for a fact that the person who takes her child to Goodwill for free, it's not actually Goodwill, but Goodwill has like a daycare center that she can't miss a certain amount of days. Like her kid cannot miss a certain amount of days or they'll get kicked out. So like I said, you have to look it up and try to figure out if it works for you, if you can get the transportation there. I know there's still city buses. You can get free city bus passes for transportation. A lot of times that the daycares, they have, you know, vans that can transport your child back and forth from home. If you guys want to see more videos where I can find some resources for you and just list them, and then you have to go and do the application process yourself, I'd be more than happy to do that. I have no problems with that because I do see a lot of times people do not believe that they can go to college if they have all of these things going on. So I feel like if people are more encouraged and let them know that there are resources out there to help them, they just have to, you know, put in the work to get it, then, you know, why not spread it to the world? Okay, so with all of that being said, don't forget that you also have financial aid. If you guys have any questions about any of what I said in this video, if you would like to add anything, you can leave a comment down below. I hope this video was helpful to you. Sorry y'all, my camera's dying, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I see you guys in the next video.